My name is Allie, and welcome to Funny Fat Friend, a podcast about this bodacious biracial babe trying to find herself in film. Here's an update. We have been protesting here in Louisville for 377 days for justice. January 5th, last Saturday, would have been Breonna Taylor's 28th birthday. Please continue to fight for justice and celebrate her life. As usual, you can find the link to wishlist supplies for protesters here, and if you can give to the Louisville Bail Fund, please do. Charges are being pursued, and we need every piece of support we can get. I also stand with the Asian and Pacific Islander communities who are facing injustice. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Find a link to resources to support them with me in the description, and I stand with Palestine. Find a link to donate to medical aid on the ground there in the description as well. All right. I hope you're doing okay. Doing what you can to feel good. Like I said in the last episode, we're doing a totally 80s summer. And while I wanted to do Weekend at Bernie's 2, it came out in 1993. So y'all just have to wait for that to come in months, I guess, when I remember to do it again. Maybe I'll do a totally 90s fall. Maybe we'll do a whole thing. I don't know. Subscribe, you'll find out. I don't know. What do we call it? What do we call this? Do we call subscribing to my podcast? What do you call it? Following it? I think you just follow it. Should I name you all? The community? What do you want to be called? Should you have a name? I don't know. Let me know. I'm curious. What would you be? The fatties? Oh my god. I'm sorry if that makes you upset, but obviously it doesn't make me upset because I call myself fat because I am. But, yeah, that bothers some people and it's totally valid for it to bother you. So, I don't know. Let me know if you want a name or if you don't. Also, let me know that you don't want a name. Also, I'm kicking upstream some hot ass merch. So see that coming down the pipeline. I think that might happen in August because you all support me enough that I got a little bit of money from the Spotifys and all the things, and the SoundClouds is giving me money now. So it's very exciting. So thank you. Thank you all so much. Okay. 80s. Bow. So we're in the 80s. For my next film in the series, I'm taking on the 1987 juggernaut that is The Princess Bride. It had a budget of $16 million, and it only made $30.9 million at the box office, which I was surprised by that since it's in like the top 5 of most white people I know's favorite films of all time. So I thought it did a lot better. But apparently once it hit home video, that's when it popped off financially. So it's like the most vanilla cult classic of all time. Which, isn't an insult, okay? It's fun. That's totally fine. I am not shaming this film at all. No shaming here. Okay, let's just get into it. The film is an enactment of a book that a grandfather reads to his sick grandson, who initially is not into it. And he says one of my favorite lines in the entire film, which I guess is disappointing that it's immediately, but also a good marker that it's going to be a great film. He says, "When I was your age, television was called books." I don't know why that delights me so much, but it does. I like it a lot. I'd like a shirt that says that. When I was your age, television was called books. Right across my chest. I think that's the perfect placement. I guess I could just make it myself. But I like when people give me things. Okay. So the story within the story is the tale about Buttercup, a beautiful young woman living on a farm in the kingdom of Florin. She loves riding horses, shout out all horse girls, and She also really likes not calling the farm boy by his name and just calling him Farm Boy. Whenever she tells him, his name turns out to be Wesley, what to do, he always complies and says, "As you wish." Which, like, ugh, weird. Where's his family? Did they just buy a farm boy? Where are both of their families? Well, okay, sorry. It doesn't matter. This isn't what we're focusing on. Okay. Eventually, she realizes that when he says, "as you wish," it really meant, "I love you." And then she realizes that she loves him. But, like, literally for why? Why does Wesley love her? I mean, maybe that's what he needs. I don't know. This seems like an unhealthy relationship, does it not? There is a power dynamic here that is not okay, I don't think. Okay, this is also a fictional world. But still, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Okay, fine. The grandson stops at this point and is upset. We're back into, like, our frame. And he's like, "Is this a kissing book?" And honestly, I'm on the kid's side. Okay. Wesley leaves to seek his fortune overseas and promises that he will always come for her. And that they have true love, which doesn't happen every day, so she has nothing to worry about. But, like, so I guess her family wasn't paying him enough to work on their farm, so he had to leave to go find work? Is there not a town? They live in a kingdom. He couldn't go, like, apprentice, like a blacksmith or a leatherman? Is that right? Or is that just... I'm really in a kink state of mind. Leatherman? I don't know. He could have. I don't know. Okay, but he had to go seek his fortune. But his ship gets attacked by the dread pirate Roberts, who is infamous for never leaving survivors, and so Wesley is believed to be murdered. And Buttercup vows never to love a man again. But she says a man, alright? And so, I clocked it. She said she never loved a man again. It's Pride, y'all. Okay, 5 years later, Prince Humperdinck, which is funny. It's a funny name, I think. I think it's funny, right? Prince Humperdinck? That's a funny name. He announces he will marry a lady who was a commoner on the 500th anniversary of their kingdom. And it turns out that commoner is Buttercup. Because she's hot. And has been hot since she was, like, I don't know, 12 is when the movie starts? I don't know. It makes me uncomfortable. The timeline doesn't make sense. It's fine. But yeah, she's not happy about it. The only time that she's happy is when she takes her daily horse ride, apparently. And during one ride, she is kidnapped by 3 outlaws. A real king situation. The boss is named Vizzini. Is that how he said it? Vizzini? I think he was like Vizzini. He's like from Sicily. Or he's Sicilian. Vizzini. I'm sorry if that's offensive. Clock me, Italians. Yeah, so he's played by a small man who I should know the name of the actor, and I'm sorry I didn't write any of that down. Anyway, he is a short king named Vizzini. He intends to start a war between the kingdoms by blaming the kidnapping of Buttercup on the Florins' enemy kingdom, which I think is like Gallon or something. I wrote it down later. I'm not, you know how I am. This probably isn't your first episode. Maybe it is. And if it is, this is how I am. I'm not great at this, but I have fun, and we have fun together, and that's what matters. Okay. So yeah, his big plan is that he's going to start a war between the kingdoms by pinning the kidnapping and eventual murder, apparently, of the princess on the rival kingdom. Okay. The others in his group are a giant from Greenland named Physique and a Spanish fencing master named Inigo Montoya. I don't know why he gets a last name. Well, I do because it's fun, but I wouldn't like to know everybody else's name. I obviously wouldn't. I can't even write down the actor's name, so I know that he is Mandy Patinkin because he's a god, you know. Great. They head for the Cliffs of Insanity to enact their plan, and the princess attempts to escape while they're on a boat heading to the Cliffs of Insanity, but she jumps into eel-infested waters. Like, people eating eels. I forget what they called them, but people eating eels. But the giant pulls her out, and nothing happens. They do notice they are being pursued by boat on their boat. There's another boat, and it has a man in black with a black mask who is following them. Ooh. They attempt to lose the man when they reach the cliffs. Vizik pulls them up the cliffside, the giant, by carrying all of them at once and just, like, overhanding it up a rope. Like, wow. But, of course, the man in black just jumps right on their tails, climbing up after them. When they get to the top, they cut the rope to make him fall, but he just starts climbing the face of the cliff. What are the Cliffs of Insanity? Do they make you insane? Or it's because they're, like, so jagged they're insane? I really wanted, like, Travis Scott to, like, come out of the cliff face or something. It's like, or Insane Clown Posse. What if, like, a bunch of people with, like, attached juggalos? What's it, juggalos? The Cliffs of Insanity. It's just juggalos drinking Faygo. And, yeah. And they all have magnets and they don't know how they work. That's what it should have been. I need a rewrite. Is this Mel Brooks? I think it is. I'm not sure. Well, that's what I need. I need a rewrite. Well, they might do a thing. They're not gonna. We'll talk about it later. Okay. Great. So, Mr. Mask Man just starts climbing the side of the wall, climbing the side of the cliff. Physique says, inconceivable, a bunch of times. And Inigo tells him that he doesn't think that that means what he thinks it means, which is very enjoyable. Also, it's fun. Okay. We're hitting all the things that people tend to like, I think. I don't know. Obviously, I cannot hit everything that people like because they really fucking lose it for this damn film. People really go hard on this film, and, like, good for you. It's fun. Yeah, great. I'm gonna keep going. Alright. The outlaws decide to split up. Inigo is waiting to kill the masked man in black, and the other two take the princess away. Inigo helps the man in black get to the top of the cliffs because he is impatient and wants to fight him sooner. We find out that Inigo is on a quest to avenge his father, who is killed by a six-fingered man who he also lost to in a duel when he was 11. And so, double avenge, revenge. Both, maybe? Yeah? The man in black defeats Inigo in a duel. It's too bad, really. And he knocks him out. Vizzini then tasked Fezzik to wait and knock the man in black out with a rock. Instead, Fezzik, I can't do this. It was fine when I was watching it. It seemed like, oh yeah, that's totally how you say it. And then right now, just looking at the names in front of me, I'm like, I don't know. Fezzik, the beautiful giant, challenges the man to some good old-fashioned fisticuffs instead of throwing just a rock on his head. The man in black gets on the giant's back and puts him in a chokehold until he is unconscious. Then we see Prince Humperdinck, having pursued them all the way to the top of the Cliffs of Insanity somehow, so fast. Like, the way it looks seems like he's literally only, like, 5 minutes behind all of them, which doesn't make any sense. He would have had to known. Oh. Yeah. I know why it doesn't make sense. I just thought about it for a second. If you've never seen this, it'll make sense later. Alright, so yeah, the timeline is suspicious on purpose. So, Prince Humperdinck shows up, having pursued them all the way to the top of the cliffs, and he tracks the Man in Black's moves. The Man in Black catches up with Vizzini and the princess, who he challenges to a battle of wits, because Vizzini really got that big brain. He a big brain boy, and he gonna use it real good. So the Man in Black seemingly puts poison into one of 2 glasses of wine, tasking Vizzini to choose a glass to drink. After a ridiculously goofy monologue, they drink, but it turns out that the Man in Black just put poison in both glasses, and he's just built up a tolerance to the poison himself, and Vizzini dies. So he's the only one that dies. The Man in Black only knocked out the other 2 dudes. I guess he's, felt the compassion in his heart of, yeah, they ain't all bad. But this one, this little one, he's evil. Really doing Short Kings dirty, alright? Alright, so then the Man in Black takes Buttercup prisoner, and they flee. And he almost hits her. It's terrible. He almost slaps her in the face when she says that she's only ever loved one person, and that she does not love the prince. But he almost slaps her because he believes that she's lying. And he's like, you lie to me again one more time? Hands. And I don't like it. Buttercup correctly guesses that he is the dread pirate Roberts, and immediately berates him for killing her love, Wesley. Then we see Humperdinck and his men approaching, so Buttercup shoves Roberts down a hill, wishing death upon him. And while he's tumbling down, he shouts, "As you wish," which, the diaphragm on this man, incredible. Alright, he's gotten the wind knocked out of him multiple times, is getting it continuously knocked out of him as he rolls down this hill, I assume. But the projection, the diction, incredible. He should go to acting school. It's really good. He should be on Broadway. Great. And so Buttercup hears him say it, and she goes, "Ooh!" And then she throws herself down the hill as well. And it's very hilarious because they're both just falling. It's not elegant at all. And I love when people fall down stuff, in films. One of my favorite films of all time is Hot Rod. And when Rod falls down the cliffside for 5 minutes, it's one of the hardest times I've ever laughed. Continuously. Every time I see it, I lose my mind. I love it. Ugh. Fall down hills for a long time. It's good. Okay. So the prince pursues them, assuming that they are going to go to the fire swamp. Wesley and Buttercup kiss at the bottom of the hill. And then we get brought out of the story within the story back to the frame. And the kid in the frame story ain't about it. Alright? He ain't about this kiss times. And so he tells his grandpa to skip. So he skipped to them entering the fire swamp, where no one survives, apparently. Wesley explains how the Dread Pirate Roberts is a title that is passed on to others. He took it so that the previous Roberts could retire. Having found Buttercup, Wesley now wants to retire himself. Then Buttercup falls into some quicksand, just the quickest of sands, and Wesley goes in after her and pulls her out. Then Wesley is attacked by a rodent of unusual size. I don't know. Is it an unusual size? I have seen many a rat-faced man who is terrible and large in my day. So they come in all shapes and sizes. But I do enjoy the title. Can I be a rodent of unusual size? Maybe I should. That's good. Should that be my title? It's like my little motto. So that'd be the Instagram caption. Introducing Allie, a rodent of unusual size. Hell yeah. I love it. Okay, so he gets attacked by a rodent of unusual size. Me. Things look bad, but he eventually defeats it. They come out of the forest alive, but are immediately met by Humperdinck and his armed men. Buttercup agrees to return to the kingdom with Humperdinck after he promises not to hurt Wesley and return him to his ship safely. Humperdinck agrees, but secretly orders the Count to take Wesley to his torture chamber, which, of course, and he calls it the Pit of Despair. Wesley notices that Rugen, the Count, has 6 fingers on his right hand, and as soon as he says something about it, he promptly gets knocked the fuck out. Yee. Okay, Wesley wakes up being tended to by a large, translucently pale man who explains that he is to be tortured to death. Buttercup sadly roams the castle. Then the king dies, and Humperdinck and Buttercup are immediately married, and she's introduced to the kingdom as a new queen, and this random lady boos her and says she threw away true love. And I was like, damn, this woman fucking is also reading this story with her grandfather. She is reading this bitch to filth. She knows everything. Somebody spilled the fucking tea. Who opened this YouTube Reddit video of everything happening in Buttercup's life? But of course, it just turns out to be a nightmare. None of that happened. Yeah. There's still 10 days to their wedding. So she goes to Humperdinck, and she tells him that she loves Wesley. And that's like, good on her. Good for you, queen. Communicate. And he says he will call off their wedding and send word to Wesley of her love. And he will send his fastest ships to tell him. And if he does not return to be with her, she has to agree to marry him instead. So then we see Humperdinck with his count admitting to hiring Vizzini to murder the princess so that he could attack Gilder. That's the other kingdom. So that he could attack Gilder, the rival nation. It was him all along. That's why he was so fast to catch up with them. And now he intends to kill her on their wedding day to keep his plan, to make it even all the more dramatic. The Count goes and tortures Wesley. It's a very weird water-sucking machine that he uses to torture him with, and it like sucks the life out of a person. There is so much kink in this film. Alright? This is a very sex-positive film. Kink, it's cool. No kink shaming. We're not a kink shaming podcast. We never will be. Water, sucky, torture machine. You do you, but Wesley was not consenting, so it wasn't cool. The king then tells his head of his brute squad to empty the thieves' forest because there's a ploy to kill the queen. And the dude's like, I didn't hear about no fucking ploy to kill the queen. I'm essentially the little finger of this, and I know everything going on. I don't know secrets. And he's like, shh, do what I say. While clearing out the forest, we see Inigo and Physique again, and they are reunited. And Inigo is trashed. He's very drunk. Physique nurses super drunk Inigo to sobriety and tells him the 6-fingered man works for the king. Which I don't know how he found that out. Maybe he just saw him on the street. I don't know. Okay, or he just heard it through the grapevine. I don't know. Physique is really like MVP. He's my favorite. It is now, so they know that they can't storm the castle by themselves, and Inigo decides Wesley is their best chance. For some reason. Oh, I guess it's because, like, nobody else has been able to best both of them, so they're like, alright, we gotta team up with this dude, because he can best at least 2 men. So, that's good. It is now the wedding day, and Buttercup accuses Humperdinck of failing to search for Wesley. But she is convinced that he will still come for her. And enraged, Humperdinck imprisons Buttercup, then goes and tortures Wesley, seemingly to death. Just like sucks water sucks him to death. Yikes. Inigo and Physique hear the sound of Wesley's wails through the forest in the trees, and they follow them to just outside the torture chamber, in the forest, but they can't really figure out how to get in. And Inigo calls on his father's spirit to guide his sword to Wesley, and it brings them to the hidden tree entrance, where they find his body, which does not get explained. Is it just goofy coincidence? Is his father's spirit guiding his sword? Is his father's spirit in the sword? I'd like that. That's a spinoff. Give me that. Give me that adventure. The Adventures of Inigo Montoya and his dad's sword. Not his dad's not named Sword. His dad is a sword. Oh, sorry. Great. Sick. So they get in. They get into the torture chamber. They take Wesley's body to Miracle Max, a healer who was fired by the king, or fired by the prince, actually. Max says he's seen worse when he looks at the body, and after finding out that he's still hanging on for true love and being badgered by his wife, and realizing that Humperdinck will suffer if he brings him back, Max agrees to revive the just mostly dead Wesley. So Wesley comes back to life, but he doesn't have much motor function at first, and it's excellent physical comedy. It's consistent, hilarious, a goofy physical comedy. I love it. It's very enjoyable. That's why we love Kevin James, right? I love a good physical comedian. Wesley, Inigo, and Physique manage to infiltrate the castle as the wedding begins, and the priest has a very delightful speech impediment, and Humperdinck panics and orders the in-progress wedding ceremony to be shortened, and Buttercup is sent to the honeymoon suite as soon as it is over. And while searching the castle, Inigo meets the Count Rugen, the six-fingered man, and he says, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." And the Count flees. He straight up runs away. It is not what I expected. I thought they were going to fight right away. But no, he bounces to get the upper hand, I guess. And after the Count offers him all... Oh, right. I jumped ahead a little bit. The Count flees, but Inigo pursues him. And the Count stabs him in the stomach. And so we think it's over. And then we switch over, and it's Buttercup in her wedding honeymoon suite. And she's about to commit suicide, but Wesley reveals himself. Somehow he got on the bed in the honeymoon suite. And then we go back to Inigo, who rises to his feet. And after the Count offers him all of his worldly possessions, Inigo kills him. Buttercup then apologizes to Wesley, believing she is married to Humperdinck, but Wesley assures her the marriage is invalid, because she never completed her wedding vows. She never said, "I do." Which I don't know how he knows that. It's okay. And also, no, whatever. This is the past. And it's a made-up thing. It's fine. Great. We don't have to unpack every moment, Allie. It's okay. Okay. Humperdinck arrives in the suite and goes to kill Wesley, who then Wesley threatens to cut off Humperdinck's limbs and make him gruesome and terrifying and live an awful life. And afraid that Wesley is not bluffing, Humperdinck just admits defeat and is tied up because he's a weak little bitch. And then it's shown that, Wesley still doesn't have all of his motor function and can't really do anything. But it's great. It worked. Physique then shows up with 3 horses. 4 horses? Several horses. And he brings horses. And as they're escaping, Inigo is like, man, I don't know what to do now. I accomplished my goal. And Wesley offers Inigo the Dread Pirate Roberts title. Hey! And they all escape. And then once Wesley and Buttercup are safe, they share a passionate kiss. Ah, kiss and bug. And that's the end of the story in the story. And we go back to the frame. Back in the bedroom, the grandfather tucks in his little grandbaby, who then asked him to read him the story again the next day. Aww. To which the grandfather replies, as you wish. Ooh. Which is very wholesome. It's very cute. Okay. And that is The Princess Bride. So, unsurprisingly, it has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. It only has a 4.1 on Letterboxd, which I was surprised by. But I guess the Letterboxd platform is a lot more, I guess, younger people too. Like a lot of my friends, a lot of my white friends really love Princess Bride. But yeah, I guess like there's more diversity, I think, in Letterboxd because it's not just like official critics, etc., etc., etc. So you have automatic diversity. And yeah, if this wasn't something you watched growing up, you're probably more in my camp of that it was enjoyable, but definitely doesn't have like a significant part of my heart at all when it comes to like crucial development of comedy in me as a human, which is something when I told Sarah I was gonna watch it, she was like, you gotta love it, it's so important to how I figured out my sense of humor, and that's really wholesome and cute. But yeah, so for people that's not, it is, I think it's great. I think it's a great film. It's super enjoyable. It's a good time. I don't know that I've ever seeked it out. I've only ever just seen it because it's been like around. Well, I obviously seeked it out to do this. Yeah, so do I relate to The Princess Bride? No. A little at the very end with the kid asking the grandfather to like tell another story the next day, because I love my grandpa's stories. He has the best fucking stories. He's hilarious. He's crazy. He has had the wildest life. Oh my god. That man has had the wildest life. I love a grandpa story. Ain't nothing like a grandpa story. They're the best. Just the fucking best. So, yeah, no, I do not relate. Also, there are, no people of color. Come on, 80s. Come on. This is close to the end of the 80s, too. Come on. But it's still fun. And there was controversy. Yeah, so there's controversy because they were talking about rebooting Princess Bride, like doing it again. And specifically, like, I think someone involved with it said that they the only reason to do it would be to have a more diverse cast, like to like intentionally be more diverse about it, which made a lot of people, white people, upset. They were like, why would you do that? That's racism. That's discrimination. Literally, multiple, like, there are many a blog post about this that I read through. There were people talking about how that's racist. Like, how rebooting The Princess Bride with a diverse cast would be racism. So fucked up. It's so stupid. Jeez. Yeah. I think, rebooting it just to be more diverse, I don't think is, I don't know. Honestly, why not? I like, why not? Fucking why not? It doesn't make the original go away. I don't know that it would do as well in 2021, this fairy tale, but maybe. I don't know. There's like a different, nostalgia's not the same as it used to be at the time. And I think this made a lot of people feel like, yeah, like fun home nostalgia, and, you know, fairy tales were the thing. I don't know. What do you think? I think it'd be cool to make an Inigo Montoya movie. I think that would be cool. And he could be fucking any color ever. And he could meet all kinds of cool people who are also every color fucking ever. Yeah. I think that would be the move. Anybody pitch that yet? I don't know. I didn't see anything about that. I think it's a good idea. I'm smart. Let's bankroll it. Who has a bunch of money that wants to make that happen? Let's do it. Let's go. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's the Princess Bride. This is the one about the Princess Bride. This has been it. Yeah. So cool. I'm still very busy. I'm very tired. I have a one-woman show that is coming out in July. Please buy tickets. I'm going to put the link to buy tickets in this as well. Buy tickets. It's the most vulnerable thing I've ever done. I'm really proud of this thing. And I'd like for everybody to watch it if they can. It's pay what you can. So don't let money stand in the way of seeing it. It's going to be in a festival that's 3 weekends long. So I hope you find some time. Check it out. Check out our YouTube. We got vidges coming out sometimes. You can also become a patron of our YouTube if you enjoy it. Please, we need money. Great. Yeah, cool. Well, you know, I love you all. I love you all so very much. Thank you for sticking with me. All these ups and downs and inconsistencies. Y'all are still showing up, and that's fucking awesome. Thank you so much. Continue to send me suggestions. I've had like 5 or 6 people reach out, hit me up in my DMs with some 80s movie recommendations, and several that I had never heard of, so that's cool. I have like a little list I'm keeping that I'm going through. And yeah. Hopefully maybe your suggests will make the cutty cuts. So oh jeez. Yeah. Alright, I gotta wrap this up. I love you all. I would throw hands with any enemy of unusual size or not, because I am a rat of unusual size myself. So, alright. As always, I've been your friendly neighborhood fat friend, Allie. Talk at you next time. Bye.